Greg, let's start with Chase Claypool, because Kevin Colbert, the GM, as I always say, he has the wide receiver algorithm. He's not sharing it with the rest of the league, but he's had it figured out.
Yeah.
Though you didn't seem to be doing backflips and handstands and cartwheels after watching the tape from Chase Claypool.
No, I did not. And actually, I pulled up my evaluation, so I'll just take a look at it. I don't think he plays to his 4.4 2-time speed at the combine, first of all. I didn't think he played fast on tape. I didn't think that he separated particularly well at the top of his route stem. I don't think he had great separation quickness. I didn't think he was a high-level athlete. I saw him profiling best as a big slot or a movement or schemed receiver. I got to tell you, after I finished watching him, I thought that there were NFL tight ends who moved better than Chase Claypool. So I just didn't see it. Maybe I'll be wrong. Look, I've been wrong before on guys, but I did not see it with Chase Claypool on tape. And I know he blew off the combine. I know that, but yeah. I don't think the tape reflected that.
Yeah, I think with Claypool is that you have to look at his size. The one thing at receiver they lack is, someone who's got a big frame. They wanted that. He just I trust Kevin Colbert, their GM, with receiver. I mean, he's probably the best at drafting them. But I could tell you from talking to receivers coaches, some offense coordinators before the draft, it's shocking. None of them spoke highly of Claypool as a guy that would be a starter at the next level. It's hard to understand. I don't have access to the way that Kevin Colbert graded the pick. And I heard him on NFL radio talk about how much he liked him, and obviously the combine helped it. But it sure sounds like he wasn't just basing it on the combine, that they really liked the player last season. So with Colbert's success, John, in the draft, I got to trust him.
I think they're just adding more depth to their wide receiver room. I don't know if James Washington's really lived up to the billing so far, and they're putting adding a little bit more competition in that room. I think it's good for Juju Smith-Schuster. He's going to probably be playing, pretty exclusively out of the slot. If they're really going to play Claypool on the outside. So, but they're also preparing like he might not be around next season. He wants to get paid. He wants a big contract like the best of the receivers in the league here. So,
Greg, one of my favorite fantasy picks this year is Deontay Johnson. I just love him.
I was going to mention him. I really like him.
Oh, I mean, what do you see out of this kid? I mean, for him to step onto the field out of the MAC as a later round pick and to do what he did with the second and third string quarterback, geez, I thought that was impressive.
Explosive kid. I think Big Ben will like throwing to him as well. Big Ben likes to throw to one-on-one matchups where he feels his receivers can win. And Johnson has great speed. He's explosive. He's what they like to have at the receiver position. I think he has a chance because much depends on James Washington, who hasn't quite become what they hoped, although he didn't get a chance, obviously, last year to play a ton with Ben. I think that Johnson is a really fascinating guy to keep an eye on this year because he's got that explosiveness.
Yeah, loved McFarland's tape. Led this class in yards created per attempt. Was fourth or fifth in missed tackles forced per attempt. He was right around where Cam Akers was in terms of elusiveness. Maryland used McFarland in kind of an interesting way last year and the previous year too, but they kind of used him in he ran a lot off tackle. They used him in this kind of gap pull scheme almost, where they'd tug their offensive linemen to the right side, left side, let the offense flow, and kind of use McFarland in motion. I think Maryland just kind of schemed looks to their best player. He only caught 17 balls last year, but I think there's room for him to improve mightily as a receiver here in the NFL. And from the Steelers, just kind of scouting and team fit perspective, now they've drafted 3 running backs in 3 straight years. They took Jalen Samuels, Benny Snell, and now McFarland. James Conner has not been able to stay healthy for the last couple of years. And I think from a team building perspective, the Steelers probably view McFarland as at his ceiling, an Austin Eckler type player in terms of usage. Now, I'm not saying McFarland is Austin Eckler. I'm not making that comparison at all. But just from a scheming perspective, I think they kind of view McFarland as give him 6 to 8 carries per game and hopefully unleash him as a receiver because John, in the open field, McFarland has some juice that just very, very few players have. And And I'm excited to see how they use him as a receiver, as a rookie this
year. No, it's just they're starting to get up there a little bit in age. It's a group that's been together for a long time. It's, slowly falling off the ledge here, but, they need to get younger there. But, we'll see. Roethlisberger can't move around like he once did. So I think it is at least a little bit of a concern here going into the season that, the play has been going down ever so slightly, and they are going up in age. So I worry about them kind of falling off a cliff here in the next year or two.
Were you surprised at all that the Steelers did not add a backup quarterback? Because elsewhere, I mean, you look at this roster and you're like, this is win now.
Yeah.
But if Ben goes down, the team's going to suck again. I was shocked they didn't. Is that still a possibility, Adam? Because I was surprised.
They've not shown any interest in any backup quarterback. There aren't a lot left on the market, but yeah, to this point, look, Duck Hodges is a nice story that, as an undrafted free agent, he made the roster and had to play. But ultimately, as we saw last season, he just simply was not good enough. Flacco's coming back from his neck surgery, so he's not going to be available. The only guys that are out there are Josh McCown has come back from significant hamstring surgery. Matt Moore has to decide whether he wants to play again. Blake Bortles is out there, and Trevor Siemian. That's just about it.